Hi folks, thanks for joining me. I'm Gaz, the Flat Cat Vapor, and that was the Smok RPM40 kit. Quite an interesting kit, a kit that they're calling the real pod mod. But I think pod mod is probably the best way to describe this. It might go down the AIO category, but the whole pod market category has gone berserk. There's so many different types of pod systems now. This is something a little bit different. This is that AIO style of device. Pod mod is the way I would call it. Primarily, especially considering the coils that come with this kit, this is a pod mod. This is like a sub-ohm tank and a mod. That's how this acts. That's how I'm treating this. And that's purely because the coils that come with it. You can get some more mouth-to-lung style Nord coils and try them out. Unfortunately, they don't put any in the kit, so I've been unable to kind of tell you how they perform with a mouth-to-lung style coil. But let's crack on anyway and start with the styling and the feel. Starting right at the top with this mouthpiece. It's a huge fat mouthpiece. I've really enjoyed it actually. It's real comfortable in the mouth because it's more of a direct to lung vape. You do find it's a much better mouthpiece. It's not too tight. You're getting a nice draw from it and it's nice and comfortable. You've also got this lovely color screen, full color screen, nice and bright even in sunlight. Real nice, really easy to adjust. This is a wattage only device as well. In the hand, this is super comfortable considering it's just like a big blocky kind of thing. The edges are nice and smooth. It's only 10 centimeters tall, so it's not a huge device at all. You know, you can keep it in your hand, no problem whatsoever. It is fairly comfortable. It's very portable. You don't feel it in your pocket. You forget you're carrying it. You can pop it anywhere you want. You're not going to notice it's there. So for those kind of reasons, it's great. If you're out and about every day, you want something lightweight and portable, this is right up there. But especially if you want your direct to lung fairly heavy hit, then this will do the job. Now, obviously, you can't compare this to a proper sub-ohm tank with a dual 18650 200 watt device under it, but it performs very well indeed. Now, the battery life as well is great. You get a 1500 milliamp hour battery. Spit it out, Gaz. That's a lot of battery for this size mod. There must be, it looks like an 18650 sitting inside there. Definitely something like that sitting inside here. The battery life's great, really well. Regardless of what cores you're using, you get the 0.6 and the 0.4 ohm cores of the different pods. Regardless of what one you're using, even at 40 watts, if you vape at 40 watts all day, you'll get a day's life out of it. I certainly have. Once you drop that wattage, of course, you get a bit more life out of it. If you're vaping around 25-ish watts, you do get just about 2 days during my testing. So for battery life, that's great. And even long term, with the whole style, the feel of this, the fact that this feels nice and sturdy, better than a lot of Smok products for the whole robustness, if that's even a word. This feels very robust, very tough, and it has had a bit of a beating. I'm impressed with the battery life and I'm impressed with the feel of everything. Now, the two pods you get the one RPM pod, which is sitting here at the minute. This is the RPM pod, so it'll only take those style of coils. There are all sorts of different coils around it, and you do also get a Nord pod, which takes all the Nord coils. Excellent idea, great idea. Now, it is a little bit of a shame they can't just put them into the one pod, but it is a bit of a bonus. that you've got the two options there. You've got the options for two different types of coils, and you've got two separate pods. So effectively, you could have two on the go. Now, I haven't been able to try a mouth to lung coil, the mouth to lung style coil, one of like the 1.2 or 1.6 ohm Nord coils, to see how that acts, because basically this is a direct to lung setup with both pods at the minute. If I had some of them Nord coils, I would have given it a try. So that's why I'm saying this is a pod mod as opposed to an all-in-one kit, because I haven't been able to test out the all-in-one performance of this. Can it do both? Can it do direct to lung and mouth to lung? Can't really tell you, but the pods themselves are great. They're really easy to fill. You get that little rubbery plug on the side to fill up. They both take over 4 ml of e-liquid, which is awesome. And I haven't really had any problems with the leaking or filling or anything like that at all. And then I've had a tiny bit of condensation. If you take the pod off and inside there, you can see already, it's a little bit, there's a little bit going on. That's just mostly user error. That's just kind of pouring in the filling port and being a bit slapdash about it. But that's just me. But I would advise just keep an eye on it inside there and give it a little clean up. Flavor and clouds. All right, let's give it a little bash. I've got the RPM pod in here at the minute with the 0.4 ohm mesh coil, 35 watts. Let's go. Now, you have to take quite a long draw to get that kind of cloud, but that's impressive for this kind of pod system. I'll quickly swap over to the Nord pod and you can see what that's like. Right, now that's on there. I'm going to drop the wattage down to 25 watts. It says 0.6 ohms or just under. Whether you can see that, who knows? Let's give it a little bash. Same again. Now, I would say the flavor is a little bit better on the 0.4 ohm mesh coil, the coil that comes with the RPM pod. But these Nord coils perform really well. You can vape and vape and vape on these, chain vape to your heart's content. And as long as you haven't got the wattage all the way up, you're not going to have a problem. In fact, I'll give it a try. 25 watts with the Nord pod. Still getting decent flavor, folks. That's with a little Nord coil in there. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, if you're a chain vapor, you're going to enjoy this as well. Both coils work really well. Both pods perform excellently. The vapor production from them is impressive. What are my final thoughts then? I mean, in general, these perform really well. They're really comfortable, really nice in the hand. They're nice, sturdy, well-built devices. I'm really impressed with all those kind of things. The display is great. Nice and solid in the hand. And then you get all these options with different coils. It is just a shame I can't really try out or mention how it performs in a mouth to lung setup. This is primarily a direct to lung kit. Now the airflow is nice and airy, not adjustable, which is a shame. A little bit of whistle, but it's a nice free vape. There's not much restriction now, which I really enjoyed. And 25 to 30 watts, to be honest, it doesn't really matter what pod you're using. Around 25 to 30 watts is a nice and durable vape. I've certainly enjoyed using this and I think it's going to do well. I think this is possibly the way pod systems are going. The AIO thing, with the AIO pod kits that I've tried, they've never really done both very well. They've either done one well or the other, or they've just been in the middle somewhere. They've kind of been a very restrictive mouth to lung, a very restrictive direct to lung vape, should I say. This is possibly the way things are going in the pod market with this. It's basically a sub-ohm kit. That's basically what it is, just a mini version of it. The way it performs, the vapor production, the flavor from it, the coils that we're using, the juice capacity of the pod. It's still called a pod, but it's really just a tank. So there's a lot of positives to this, and I'm hoping that we see a lot more of these, because I think these devices have a lot more practical uses for the everyday vapor, for the hobbyists, for a lot more people. They're very practical. It's very practical indeed. The battery life's great. You're getting a decent, satisfying vape out of it, especially if you're into your sub-ohm kits, you're into your big mods and tanks. But for those odd occasions where you need something that you can just pop in your pocket and forget about, the Smok RPM40 is going to do a great job for you, and it certainly has for me. I hope that was helpful, folks. If it was, hit the like button or subscribe if you fancy it. Of course, you can see my latest video here and a random one there. And a big shout out to my patrons. If you want to check me out, head over to Patreon. My link's in the description as well. I'm Flatca Vapor. Thanks for watching.